Well, look who decided to show up to the big boy party. Hi, Brooks.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. A review that I have been looking forward to dropping for quite some time. Because I've had this shoe for so long, it's just been secretive. And I haven't been able to post the review for quite some time. So here we are with this. It's the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. The Hyperion Tempos were provided by Brooks for this review. They are fully aware all of the opinions and experiences are my own. I do not accept financial compensation for any of my reviews or to say anything in my reviews. This has been since day one, so everything you see in today's review is everything that I've experienced and my pure and honest thoughts. We are living in crazy times right now in the shoe world. Shoe brands are racing to innovate and change the shoe game. They want to make their runners faster at the elite level. Shoe manufacturers like Nike are creating shoes like the Alpha or the Next Percent that are causing all sorts of controversy. Rules are being made of what kind of shoes, what kind of technology can be used in shoes, how long shoes have to be in the stores before they can be used by elites in competition. Listen, it's a mess. And a lot of the shoe manufacturers are doing whatever they can to innovate and create technologies that will help their runners compete amongst others with other types of shoes on their feet. The focus of this video is not to dip my fingers or toes into that controversy and stir up trouble. It's to talk about this shoe from Brooks, which is one of their two shoes in the Hyperion line to enter this elite fast shoe technology-based speed game. The Hyperion Elite, which is not pictured here because I don't have a pair to test, is Brooks's carbon fiber plated race shoe that won't last a lot of miles but is supposedly very fast. This is their more consumer level but yet front of the pack based speed model for longer distance runs, training runs that they hope will encourage athletes to train in this, race in the elite, mixing all sorts of fast tech in both of the shoes, creating a new top level in their shoe lineup. As someone who's been reviewing shoes for nearly a decade and running in pairs of shoes a lot longer than that, I get fascinated by new shoe technology, and this shoe is no exception. The Brooks Hyperion Tempo is utilizing some of their new technologies, not necessarily new to the marketplace, but new for them. We have their nitrogen-infused midsole material known as DNA Flash, all caps. A super lightweight and breathable mesh throughout the upper with minimal welded overlays, a light lacing system, molded heel cup reminiscent of a lot of the recent Nike generation, a snappy yet responsive and highly flexible midsole and last, bringing this whole shoe into the less is more category, but certainly something that'll be great for faster environments, higher energy tempo runs, mid-distance to long-distance training runs, and racing. Of note is that it's been a while since I reviewed Brooks shoes. There's just not been a lot of innovation across their line. This was the first shoe from them in a very long time that has excited me. I'm also really hesitant to like this shoe, knowing what they've done with other versions of shoes in the past, where the first version tends to be really solid, and future versions or iterations of those shoes just fall in quality, in feature sets, in overall experience. The first couple of shoes that come to mind, the Pure Grit just continued to get worse and worse. The Caldera was an amazing shoe and has since changed a lot, and not for the better. So this Hyperion Tempo is a really good shoe. I'm afraid they put that out there because now Brooks is gonna take it and break it. Regardless, I'm gonna tell you all the things I like and dislike about the Brooks Hyperion Tempo in today's review. Starting with things that I like. Simplicity. I've mentioned this in other shoe reviews in the past. A shoe that it keeps it simple. We have a really beautiful solid midsole material. We have an upper with a light and airy mesh attached to that. Minimal enhancements or technologies to get in the way of the overall foot feel, ground feel, and experience running in the shoe. And the Hyperion Tempo has been a joy. That simplicity wraps around your foot. You barely know you have the shoe on. And when you have those types of experiences in a shoe, it's a pleasurable one. Certainly geared towards those workouts or tempo runs where your speed is going to be increased. It's not necessarily designed for those long, slow runs. A bigger person like myself doesn't necessarily benefit from a shoe like this in those plods. I definitely felt the benefits of the shoe in my mid-distance tempo runs where I just wanted to increase the kick a little bit. The simplicity of the shoe helped cater to that sensation. DNA Flash midsole. So they've used all sorts of midsoles in the past. This is a nitrogen-infused midsole. It's very similar to other shoes that I reviewed on this channel. Something like the Skechers Razor 3, or even in fit and feel, to the very recently reviewed Kinvara 11. This midsole leans into that responsive, snappy realm. While it is cushioned, and they do advertise it as a cushioned yet responsive shoe, I definitely feel it's more on that responsive end of the spectrum. You're not going to get a ton of cushioning or absorbent material, but what I've experienced with the DNA Flash has been nothing short of fun. I really did enjoy this midsole. It surprised me, it impressed me, and I look forward to runs in it. It just makes me want to kick faster. I like it. Weight. The shoe is actually pretty light, 8.2 ounces in my size 11. I think a majority of that weight is actually just the outsole rubber layer that they have across the forefoot and heel cup. It's not that heavy of a shoe, and while you have it on your foot, because of its overall comfort and simplicity, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of shoe on your foot, which is a great sensation. Weight is low, on-foot feel is subtle. I like it. That being said, it's not all ring pops and a box of nerds. There are some things that I dislike about the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. Durability. Now this is going to be more of an observation. I'm still putting miles in this shoe right now at about 68 miles or so. I don't anticipate it lasting as long as other shoes kind of in that realm of a responsive, lightweight, neutral trainer. I might get another 100 miles out of it. I'm just feeling the midsole sort of breaking down a little bit prematurely. The insole as well as the upper are just showing signs of typical wear and tear that I wouldn't expect to see for at least another 100 miles in a shoe. So while the shoe is completely functional, it is one of those things I wanted to make note of, just so people are aware that you may not necessarily get as much durability out of this shoe. The lacing, these laces suck. That's kind of the bottom line. I'm a stickler for a good set of laces. This shoe doesn't have them. The reasoning is that they're very thin and they're very stretchy. When you get laces that are the combination of both thin and stretchy, getting them to tie down tightly or comfortably is difficult. They don't stay in one place. They want to shift around a lot. It led to me having a number of issues with the tongue, just wanting to slide all over the place and not giving me a perfect fit or seal across the midfoot. It's a pet peeve. It's tedious, but it is something I absolutely want to make note of. And price. At $150, the shoe itself is at a higher price point. There are other shoes in the game that I think you're going to get a very similar experience out of for a lower price point. Examples include the Razor 3 from Skechers at about $130, the Kinvara 11, which I just reviewed, around that same price point, the New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel, also around that same price point. You're getting similarly statured shoes with similar tech and similar ride experiences as this one for lesser price points. I wish this wasn't at the $150 price point. $20 less, $25 less, it would be competitive with other brands. It is a standout shoe in the Brooks line. It is not necessarily a standout shoe amongst all the lines. But honestly, that's kind of it for my dislikes. In conclusion, this is one of Brooks's best running shoes in a long time that I've experienced. Just saying that makes me nervous that something's gonna change. Another department is gonna take over and destroy it or discontinue it. So while I'm optimistic of what this might mean for the future from Brooks, I am also quite a bit hesitant to say that. The shoe excels at faster, fun tempo runs, speed workouts, or race efforts. I had no problems running distances anywhere from 10 to 15 miles in the shoe. Anything beyond that, and I could certainly see myself weighing down the shoes a little bit too much. Also of note that this DNA Flash midsole is hyper temperature sensitive. If you're running in colder climates, it's going to feel a lot more responsive than if you're running anywhere from 75 degrees or above, which is very similar to a lot of midsoles. I felt that this nitrogen infused midsole was more sensitive to temperature than others that I have in my lineup. If it's cold out, it'll run hard. Hasn't taken away the joy though. All right, so let's get a little bit more specific. Build quality in the shoe is good. It's better than what I would expect from an elite level shoe that isn't expected to last a long time, but for a shoe that is comparable to others from other manufacturers that are holding up a lot longer, I am worried that the build quality may not last as long as I'd want. Comfort, surprised by, again, the DNA Flash and the overall comfort and fit of the shoe. It's very nice. It is going to be geared towards faster efforts, but there's a little bit of plush in there to go along with the snappy and the flexy. Fit, it's going to run a little bit narrow. So this is another one of those shoes that's sort of geared towards that fast environment, front of the pack. Doesn't mean any of us mid-packers, back of the packers can't enjoy the shoe as well, but it is going to be geared more towards the narrow end of the spectrum in that mid and forefoot area. If your feet run wide, you're gonna run into some issues. Luckily, the upper is a bit more flexible and compensates for bigger feet. It's just not gonna be an ideal shoe for the wider end of the spectrum. Price at $150, as I mentioned in my dislikes, it's just pretty high price point for this shoe. I would hope that it'd be a little bit less than that. Looks, it's simple and it's effective. I love the black on blue. From what I've seen, the color versions are the same for both men's and women's shoes. They're not doing too much with it right now. Doesn't mean they won't in the future, but I don't mind it. I think it's actually kind of cool. Bringing us to our final criteria, is the Brooks Hyperion Tempo a buy, try, or a why? This is going to be one of those that is a solid try. If you have the budget, if you're looking for a shoe to go a little bit faster without forking over the big bucks for a carbon plated shoe, this is one that you're going to want to look at. There are some others that I have mentioned in this review that you'll also want to compare to these before you just make the purchase. But this is a solid try because from Brooks, when you get a shoe that works, you got to give it a thumbs up and you got to give it a shot. Kind of far and few between, but when it happens, you got to celebrate a little bit. Take a shot of whiskey, down a bottle of tequila, and have a day. And finally, if you want to find out more information or buy a pair of the Hyperion Tempos for yourself, there are links in the description that will take you over to Running Warehouse. They are affiliate links that cost you nothing. They help the channel out. It's a simple thing to do to sort of support us. Check them out if you want. The shoes will be available very, very soon. I now turn the tables to you and ask you, is this a shoe that you are interested in? Have you tried it? Are you looking forward to it? In the comments of this video, let's get some feedback going on the Brooks Hyperion Tempo because it's certainly going to raise some dialogue amongst Brooks fans, amongst people who are caught up in all of the shoe dialogue right now. While it is not the Hyperion Elite with the carbon fiber plate, it certainly falls in line with one of those faster, fun shoes that we're getting to see more of on people's feet. And that, my friends, is it for today's review. If you liked it, make sure you like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell to be updated anytime a new video is uploaded to the channel, whether it's a live stream, a review, a film, all of it. Social media links right there for you to follow across the board for news updates, events, gear, all that sort of stuff. Patreon.com/thegingerrunner is where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. You get access to a whole bunch of cool perks on the back end. It's just another way to support the channel. Do it. Beep. That's it. Thank you so much for watching today's review. We'll see you guys next week for another fun thing. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week. Bye!